What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Work the Crowd podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Douglas Harden, and as always, I'm joined here with Jacob Klukas, Coach Jay with the shades, his alter ego. What's up, buddy? Doing all right?
I am doing great outside of the sniffles that I have.
Yeah, I know, man. It's that time of year. Everybody's getting sick. Flu's going around.
Outside of that, I am great.
Well, all right. Well, if you live under a rock or you don't listen to the sports world, the Heisman Trophy presentation was last night. So we're going to talk some more. We're going to talk some about that. Obviously, Sherron Moore, complete fucking moron. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have a few different topics for the NFL and then some college basketball. So let's go ahead and I guess jump into Sherron Moore.
Yeah, well, as I said,
the Snow Bunny.
Outside of that, I am great. Outside of the sniffles, I can tell you who's not great, and that is Sherron Moore.
Yeah, no, he done upended his life overnight.
I mean, what was he thinking?
I don't know.
So if you don't know, Sherron Moore, head coach at Michigan, was fired this week.
Michigan football
coach, sorry, was fired this week for what was originally stated as for essentially having inappropriate relations with a staff member, aka Bobby Petrino, without the motorcycle accident. Yeah. Yeah, or just without getting the shit beat out of you by the husband.
It's a good cover up though.
But yeah, so that came out and we were all kind of just like, oh wow, it kind of is like one of those things like, all right, yeah, he had an affair with his wife. Is that really a fireable offense from your job? Some jobs it would be. But then it comes out that essentially Sherron Moore had, for, we'll just say a lack of a better term, a full crash out afterwards. So apparently what happened was he got this staffer pregnant. I guess it's still not technically being said whether, the baby is going to be kept or not.
No, I thought he paid for an abortion.
Okay, well, didn't read that, but okay. But anyway, so they fired him. And apparently part of the reason why they fired him was because of the staffer essentially broke things off with him and told the university what was going on. And first of all, let's also talk about one thing. If you're going to sleep with a staffer, I can tell you the one thing you shouldn't do is up their pay from $56,000 a year to $90,000 a year, okay? That's like the ultimate like red flag of, all right, something's going on here. All right. So she went and told the athletic department what was going on. Athletic department did their investigation, fired him. And again, Sherron Moore went into full crash out mode, showed up at her house, put a knife to her neck, threatened to kill himself and threatened to kill her for essentially ruining his life for what he said. And yeah, Sherron Moore was taken to jail.
Yeah. And that's a felony.
Oh yeah.
For multiple felonies. So he probably won't get jail time, but he'll have to go to court for it and try and, dispute it there.
Not only that, he'll probably never coach football again.
Never. Nope. He's done.
So now here's the issue we have now. Whoa.
Well, a little more with that story though, too, because I was seeing when it first came out, when I read the comments on, the rabbit holes you can go down on a Twitter X post is ridiculous. But most people kept saying, she was a student, like he took advantage of her, all this stuff. Well, she was not a student. She worked on just the staff on the team. So she just worked there. So it was just like he had an affair with a coworker. Yeah. That's how that was. So I just wanted to, I saw a lot of people talking about that. So I was like, I wanted to specify that.
Well, yeah, because I think a lot of it was
because she was young too.
Well, and I think a lot of it was nobody knew at the time what he was getting arrested for.
Yeah,
they announced that he was getting arrested. So the speculation of, was it an underage student or, was it that kind of runs wild.
She worked for the team. That's all it was.
So, but yeah. So here's the problem now with the athletic department. It is being, now none of this has been confirmed or not yet, but it's being reported that this was brought up, that this was allegedly the third time that this was brought up about Sherron Moore. Now, whether it's third time with same person, third time with different people, whatever the case may be. But allegedly, this is the third time. And now the NCAA is investigating the Michigan athletic department because now it's like, okay, now the irony behind this is, did you hide all this and not tell anybody until after signing day when all your recruits signed to your school? So now we have that, and they're going to be investigated with that because that's kind of messed up. How are you going to do that to your recruits? And after coaches get fired, you have a 15-day window to enter the portal. But for those kids coming out of high school that made their commitment to this coach, if you held off on information knowing that your coach was again, lack of a better term, let's just say a freak, that's kind of messed up. And, for that whole Michigan man mantra you have up there, that's not quite what you, but I'm upset as a Buckeye fan. I want to know, how can we get Sherron Moore back into the University of Michigan at this point? I want to know how we can get him back. And I want to know what can I donate to the NIL fund to make Bryce Underwood stay at Michigan? That's what I want.
You might be able to get Sherron Moore back when he has to do community service hours and he can do some free hours, maybe, with the University of Michigan.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's okay. They already wear yellow, they could just put him in a yellow jumpsuit, but yeah, now the question is, who do they, now, as we've done all year, now we have another coaching hiring to fill, and Michigan's a little late to the party. So now who takes this job? Who wants to jump into a potentially, this is where the whole athletic, take away the Sherron Moore incident for a second, with the athletic department being involved with this, in terms of, did they hide anything and all this and that, does that keep certain coaches from wanting to go there? Or, what does that do for their coaching?
Again, Jeff Brom's name got brought up on this short list too.
Of course.
I know. I'm sick and tired of it. Now, I will say, if I'm Jeff Brom, this is a little more enticing. Michigan was not horrible this year. They have good recruits. They obviously have really good NIL money that they can throw at people, because Bryce Underwood was making $10 million or whatever.
Yeah.
So
allegedly,
whatever,
if not more.
But there's big NIL money there. I mean, if I'm a coach that wants to win football games, this is not a bad place to go.
Well, and here's the thing: it was also reported that him and his staff member, cut things off months ago. So they said the last couple months of the season, Sherron Moore was essentially stalking this girl, and
he went crazy.
And Portnoy, being the lunatic that he is, was like, oh, we went 9-3 this year, and our head coach wasn't even focused on football. He was stalking this poor girl. Imagine if we had somebody that was focused on football.
Leave it to Portnoy to spin it like that.
So yeah, well, Portnoy is also anybody that wants to slander the Michigan man name is sending out lawsuits. So, but
really, he's sending out lawsuits?
Yeah, for speaking bad on the Michigan man name. So
that's stupid.
I mean, it's Portnoy. What do you expect? So, but yeah. So now the question again, like we said, has been, what does Michigan do for their head coach? And the hot name on the table is Kalen DeBoer. And I'm not going to lie, as an Ohio State fan, let it be Kalen DeBoer, please. The only name on the list of people that they talked about on there that I wouldn't want to see, and he would never leave where he's at now to go there, is Marcus Freeman. But everybody else I've seen on there, as an Ohio State fan, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. You can go there. I feel okay with that. So, but here's my thing. I kind of really hope it is Kalen DeBoer, in terms of, I want to see the chaos that happens afterwards, because now that Alabama job becomes open. How dry is that ink on the LSU contract?
Yeah, look, he he would have signed that shit in pencil. That's for sure. I mean, I think that's always been his end game, right? He wants to be the Bama head coach.
Yeah. How dry is that ink? How fully committed to LSU are you, Lane? And listen, knowing who Lane Kiffin is, this is a Lane Kiffin thing to do.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the controversy of leaving Ole Miss the way you did to go to LSU, and then before you even coach a team at LSU, you finagle your way to Alabama when the job comes open. I mean, I would love to see the chaos that ensues after that. It would just be, I don't think it'll happen. Let's preference that.
So here's what would happen. Here's Google's AI. If Kiffin, this is for LSU, obviously. If Kiffin leaves for another college head coaching job, he owes LSU a tiered amount starting at $7 million in late 26, decreasing yearly.
I feel like Lane would do that easily to go to Bama.
Bama might pay it for him.
Yeah, that's nothing.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like a huge amount. I mean, it's probably the years on his contract, so I don't know how many years. Oh, here it is. It would be $7 million late 26, and then 6 and 27, 5 and 28, 3 and 29, 2 million in 2030, and then 1.5 in 2031. That's how that would be. Because it was a 7-year deal worth 91 million.
Hey, let's see.
Equating to 13 million annually before incentives, which is absolutely insane. Maybe if DeBoer leaves, that'd be hilarious. That would be so funny.
So I was trying to look up. I don't know if that scenario's ever happened in college football.
Probably
where
not.
like a coach leaves before even coaching a team for even a year, like without like some kind of like allegation or something, obviously before it, happening. Let's just play musical chairs here, Doug. So let's say Kalen DeBoer goes to Michigan after the playoff. Let's say Alabama gets, because it is also, let's just preference this, it is also alleged that Ty Simpson has a back issue right now.
I did hear that. Yep.
So let's just say in this scenario, Alabama gets the brakes beat off them by Oklahoma.
Okay.
Let's just say, even if it's in a similar fashion of the Georgia game, let's just say 28-7, they lose in Norman in the playoff. Bama's calling for Kalen DeBoer. DeBoer's tired of hearing it. He says, I'm going to Michigan. So he goes to Michigan. Now we go, let's just say a week after that, we go, all right, who's going to coach Bama, yada, yada, yada. We get the Nick Saban rumors all over again. Lo and behold, here comes Lane Kiffin taking the Alabama job. Who steps into the LSU job? Because I gotta feel like you don't like it, but I feel like the top candidate would have to be Brom at that point. I feel like it's between Brom and Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. But Lee just signed an extension, I'm pretty sure.
Well, Louisville needs to get that done
which would indicate that he's staying no matter what, at least next year. So that's the thing, is I know Brom came out and was like, I'm at Louisville when the Penn State thing came around. But I'm with Louisville. But you haven't signed your extension.
Yeah, no, they need to get that done. If they don't, why you have to look at LSU.
I feel like your top 3 candidates at that point would have to be Brom, Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State, and then
Marcus Freeman.
And you're gonna call Marcus Freeman, obviously.
But
I think as far as a realistic, I think that they're gonna lead I see Marcus Freeman sticking it out another year, at least at Notre Dame. And then if schools truly start to shun Notre Dame off their schedule and Notre Dame is still unwilling to go to a conference, I could see where Marcus Freeman going, I understand your all's purpose behind not joining a conference, but you're screwing us over by not doing it. I'm out. So I see him going at least another year. Now, maybe he's already had that thought process, and maybe he's like, all right, next major job that opens, I'm gone. And I don't think that'd be Michigan. With him being an Ohio State guy, I don't think he'd ever go to Michigan.
No, I think if this scenario happens, LSU would be on the table.
I think LSU would be very high on his radar. And in all honesty, probably it'd probably be the only option outside of obviously if Nick Saban came out of retirement or something like that. But I think it'd be your only option where you could argue we just upgraded from Lane Kiffin somehow.
Yeah. Building a culture, which is what they were missing because Brian Kelly's horrible at that. Marcus Freeman's your guy for that.
What you mean? We're all about family down here in Louisiana. That's what Brian Kelly went down there and did.
Talk like that. Big
brother, just go be yourself. That's why they hired you.
Can't.
But yeah, we're me and you are big on chaos.
Oh, I love chaos.
I would love, as much as I don't think it's going to happen, I would love, because I think truly the Michigan job, I think who's going to end up getting it is going to be one of 2 people. One of them is going to kind of shock you a little bit. The other one's not. I think the guy that ends up ultimately getting this job at the end of the day is going to be Jesse Minter, who was the defensive coordinator for Michigan under Harbaugh. He's Harbaugh's defensive coordinator right now with the Chargers. I think that'd be a great job for him to come back to. That's still, if you want to keep the Harbaugh ties like you did with Sherron Moore a little bit, you can keep the Harbaugh ties and the Harbaugh culture at Michigan, and he can keep it running. The other one that might shock you a little bit, his name's been thrown out there. What about the other Harbaugh?
John?
Yeah. What if John Harbaugh goes, listen, I've won a Super Bowl in the NFL. Obviously the Ravens, if the season doesn't go the rest of the way they want it to, might be looking in a new direction anyway. Why not go to a top program in college football and try my hand like my brother did in college football?
Has he ever coached in college? Ever?
I don't think so. Let's see. I didn't need to know. He coached. He was like in special teams roles and assistant coaches at small schools, but
nothing like.
So he was the running backs coach at Western Michigan in 84 to 86. Tight ends coach at Pittsburgh at 87. Special teams coach at Morehead State in 88. Special teams coordinator in 89 through 96 for Cincinnati. Special teams coordinator for Indiana in 97. And then that's when he went to the NFL.
Gotcha. What about the Arizona State guy?
Kenny Dillingham? I mean, yeah. But I don't know. I feel like Michigan's going to want to try to keep that tough guy mentality. And that's why I think Minter and Harbaugh are
Joe Brady, too. Offensive
those are because it's going to be all the hot names.
I'm looking up like top odds.
I think if Michigan wants to keep Bryce Underwood there, they're gonna have to go find an offensive coach.
Offensive guy. Yeah.
You got to. If not, you can kiss Bryce Underwood goodbye.
Okay. That's the coaching chaos that could happen. Let's just talk about Bryce Underwood, who arguably, one of the better quarterback prospects and most likely a future NFL player. Where does he go if he leaves Michigan?
I think he goes back to LSU where he was originally committed to.
He goes play for Kiffin, unless Kiffin goes to Bama.
Correct.
But then he could go to Bama.
Yeah, but Bama's got a young quarterback waiting behind Ty Simpson and Keelan Russell, who's very talented. So if Kiffin were to go, and Ty Simpson could still go back another year.
Yeah, right.
To Bama.
Right.
So with that, with Ty Simpson, the potential of Ty, if all this plays out and Kiffin ends up at Bama, with the potential of Ty Simpson being able to come back, and then the potential of if he doesn't, you have Keelan Russell there. Bryce Underwood isn't going to go there. He's not going to go and want to compete with somebody. He's going to want to go. That's why he went to Michigan. He wanted to start right away.
Yep.
And outside of the money for why he went to Michigan, but
yeah.
But yeah, I could very well see him heading back to LSU as long as Lane Kiffin's there, where he originally was committed to, and he could easily, because with Nussmeier gone, could go in there and play right away.
Yeah.
So
okay. Speaking of quarterbacks, this might be a good transition into our next topic here: the Heisman Trophy presentation. If you didn't know, Fernando Mendoza from Indiana won the Heisman, followed by, I have the stats out here, followed by Diego Pavia, and then Jeremiah Love, and then Julian Sane. And then there's actually a top 10 if you did not know. People can, in the committee, can vote for whoever they want. So there's actually a 5 through 10. The fifth was the linebacker from Texas Tech, Jacob Rodriguez. He got 295 points.
Yeah, if I remember, I was going to say, if I remember correctly, he actually had more first place votes than Sayan did.
It doesn't say that, but very shocked. I'm not shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. 6 was Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. 7 was Gunnar Stockton from Georgia. 8 was Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss. 9 was Caleb Downs from Ohio State. And then 10 was Haynes King from Georgia Tech. So Ohio State had 3 guys on there.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Arguably could have had 4.
With
Arvell Reese.
Yeah. But I think Mendoza deserved it. I think the right guy won for this year.
Yeah, for sure.
I know Pavia had a argument with his rush yards. He had a great season too, but
yeah. But so here's my thing.
Mendoza was too likable. I think he was always going to win.
Yes, and here's my thing, and it's not the likable part that I don't mind. It's a certain attitude, like
a little bit arrogant.
Yeah, it's likable to a degree, I guess, when you look at it. But if you went through if you watched all the different videos of like the Heisman interviews from Friday night into Saturday, and all the little like videos they did, like just certain things, like asking, like just like when they would ask each Heisman candidate, like certain questions. Like one of the questions I'm talking about is like, what are you planning on doing with the Heisman Trophy, if you win it? And, not everybody knows you get 2 Heisman trophies when you win it, because you get one to keep for yourself. The other goes to the school. So the one, and I don't think none of the candidates knew that, because when they asked them, what do you do with the Heisman Trophy? So Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, was like, oh, if I could, give the trophy to somebody, first he was like, I'd give it to God, but he was like, if not, I'd give it to my mom. Sayan said the same thing. I'd give it to my mom and dad. Fernando Mendoza, same thing. I'd give it to my mom. Then we get to Diego Pavia, and he's like, He's like, oh yeah, I'm keeping that motherfucker. He said, actually, I told Theo Vaughn as long as nobody breaks into his house, he could keep it at his house. Like, come on, brother. Like,
if anything, he's pure content. I mean,
he is.
He's making a name for himself.
But like my point behind that is when you got to asking these type of questions to all the guys were, teammates, family, it was all about, but when it got to Pavia, it was like me. Like, come on, dude. Like,
he's a star now, man.
We got to have a little bit of being humble.
There's no humility.
And like there was another one they were trying to do, it was a TikTok. They were trying to do like a Heisman bracket, who would you take?
Oh, I saw that.
And it was like Lamar, Johnny Manziel, and it got to Diego Pavia, and he was like, me. And they were like, what? And he was like, me. And they were like, no, it's a bracket. And he was like, oh, whoa, my bad. Oh, come on, dude.
So I think it's great he actually thinks he's better than Lamar in Johnny football, but obviously he's not anywhere close.
Like, and another one, I'll give you another example. I don't know whose podcast it was. I just know I don't think it was like a big like podcast, but he was on a podcast and they were asking him about, what's next for Diego Pavia and like NFL wise. He said, oh, I'm going to lay it out for you. And this was, I think, before the college football playoff, because he said we make the playoff before it was announced. He said, well, we're going to make the playoff. He goes, that's starters. He goes, then I'm going to win the Heisman. And once they give me the Heisman Trophy, I have to go first round. Like, so many things wrong with that. Because 1, you didn't make the playoff. 2, you didn't win the Heisman. And 3, let's just say in an alternate universe that you did win the Heisman. Buddy, you weren't going first round anyway. I hate to tell you, just because you go first round or just because you win the Heisman does not mean you have to go round 1. Okay. So listen, I've started doing my draft breakdowns. I have a 4th round grade on Diego Pavia. Okay. I think he'll make it. I think he'll get drafted for the story. Somebody will take him and want to be the story. It'll be kind of like a Shedeur Sanders type. Like, we want to take him just for now. Shedeur balling for the Browns right now. And I always thought Shedeur was very good. I didn't think he should have slid to the 4th round. But somebody will take him for the story. And somebody will be like, we're going to take him for the story. And maybe there's a small % of a chance. And when I say small, like we're talking 1% chance that he can maybe tap into some kind of talent and maybe be a good back. But the problem with guys like Diego Pavia is even as a backup, he's going to want to be in the spotlight. And no NFL team is going to allow their backup to be in the spotlight over their starter. Diego's not going to make it, I don't think, as far as NFL goes.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I shared a picture with you all this morning, and it was a picture. It said,
I was going to show it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to show it.
I mean, this is the most accurate photo I think I've ever seen.
Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah, if you can, this is the most accurate photo I've ever seen. There we go. Yeah.
This is what it says. And for people who aren't watching, it's a picture of Jeremiah Love, Fernando Mendoza, Diego Pavia, and then Julian Sain standing next to each other during the presentation of the Heisman Trophy. And someone says, you can see the name here, giving the cred, but he says, I can't really explain it, but Diego Pavia looks like he's going to be fighting Jake Paul in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, so keep that photo up because I'm trying to find. Here it is. So if you keep that photo up right there, because I want you to take a look at all of them, right? Just the players. So Jeremiah Love is listed at 6 foot. Fernando Mendoza.
6 foot.
Hold on. Now listen. Now it doesn't look like obviously the feet is cut off of like Julian saying, but I would say just off looking, this looks like an even platform.
Yeah.
Okay. Like nobody's like on a step up or anything. So listed heights. It says Jeremiah Love is 6 foot. Fernando Mendoza is listed at 6'5". Hold on. Diego Pavia is listed at 6 foot. And Julian saying, now these are all based off what they're listed on their team's website. Diego Pavia listed at 6 foot. Julian saying listed at 6'1". And someone said, someone is lying about their height, talking about Diego Pavia, or 3 people are lying about their height. And I think they're all lying about their height. I think there's no way. I would say Fernando Mendoza is probably realistically 6'4". I would say 6'3", 6'4". Jeremiah Love's got to be 6'2", 6'3", minimum.
No, but see, here's the thing. You got to look at the bottom there. Like you can see Jeremiah Love's feet. The rest of them are wearing dress shoes, which aren't as high. He's wearing, looks like he has
so we'll go
shoes.
6'1". We'll go 6'1" then.
I think legit Jeremiah Love's 6 foot. But
Okay,
I think Mendoza's like 6'3". I'm going to say Pavia is at least 5'11".
Pavia's 5'10". Has to be
5'10", 5'11", and Sands probably like 6'2".
Yeah, has to be. There's no way Julian Sayin is listed at 6'1" and Diego Pavia is listed at 6 foot.
Yeah, the back of Jeremiah Love's shoes gives him like, it looks like at least 2 to 3 inches on that.
Let's just.
But it does not look good for Pavia. It doesn't. In a picture side by side with everybody, it doesn't look great. But I'll tell you what, that dude has so much confidence. He literally does not give a shit.
No, and again, the picture itself,
and he plays well. I mean,
he does. Diego Pavia is the he's like Johnny Manziel in terms of,
yes,
he is the exact, like what you would say is a great college quarterback, and there's just going to be nothing past that, and that's okay.
Yes, I tell you what though. Johnny Football publicly, yes, he partied and stuff like that, but I think publicly he wasn't as cocky as Pavia is.
No, Manziel's cockiness was more so on the field.
And there was a reason he could do that, because the dude was insane. So Pavia's is like both.
And somebody brought up the point. They were like, we talk about Dylan Raiola trying to be Patrick Mahomes, but nobody is talking about Diego Pavia trying his hardest to be Johnny Manziel.
I like the guy. I think it's great. Look, if football doesn't work out for him, he has a personal brand now to go off of, to do whatever he wants. Because he now, he hangs out with Theo Vaughn, he hangs out with Sketch, all these people that build all these personal brands that make money just for doing whatever. And, I'm glad to see the guy do that, because he's setting himself up for the future if football doesn't work out. Obviously, he wants to go play in the NFL, but if not.
According to all these team websites, I am confirming Jeremiah Love on the team website is listed at 6 foot, Mendoza 6'5", Pavia 6 foot, Julian Sayin 6'1".
Yeah, yeah, okay. I don't know.
It's got to be. There's someone's lying.
They always lie though, especially in football.
But yeah. So shout out to all the Heisman guys. Now I will say, in terms of talking about the rest of the guys, the 5 through 10 that you announce. So every year the Heisman does a fan vote of who the fans would want to win the Heisman and that aren't. Jacob Rodriguez led the fan vote. Wow.
I mean, yeah, I get it.
So yeah. There's that. So, all right, moving on. Let's move into the NFL, Doug. And before I get into one of these topics, let's talk about the biggest topic in the NFL this week that happens to be about our team.
Of course it is.
I'm just not going to sugarcoat it. 44-year-old grandfather Philip Rivers is going to be starting this week for the Indianapolis Colts. And no, this is not a flashback to 2019, 2020 Indianapolis Colts talking here. This is 2025 as of December 14th, 2025 at 4:25 Eastern Standard Time today. Philip Rivers will be starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts.
Man.
And you know what? I can't wait.
The gunslinger's back, baby.
And it's not so much I can't wait in terms of I am a little confident just because I'm like, why not? What else can I be at this point? What good is it doing me to be disappointed that Philip Rivers is starting this week? It's not doing me any good. So why not just get excited for it?
Yeah.
And I told you, I put a bet in. He's throwing for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns today. I don't care about the Seattle defense. You can give me all the numbers about how good Seattle's defense is, and I know how good Seattle's defense is. You're talking to a numbers guy here, okay? I know how good. And I'm not one of those people that will sit here and tell you the NFL is fully rigged. But if it was, the storyline is set for Philip Rivers to have a monster day today.
He doesn't have a Super Bowl, right?
Now, him starting today does reset his Hall of Fame window another 5 years.
I mean, in the history books, somehow, by God's grace, he leads the Colts to a Super Bowl. Where does that put him on the list here?
I'm gonna back you up a little bit. Okay, right now,
Even just to the playoffs.
There's conversation of if Phillip Rivers is even a Hall of Famer. Okay,
which
now
it's a little crazy to me. I get why they say it, but
because statistically, when you look at his stats scream Hall of Famer. But it's just the lack of playoffs and the lack of, no MVPs and, and stuff like that kind of holds him back. But I'm going to take you a step further. If Phillip Rivers, because listen, the Colts have 8 wins right now. Realistically, if you can manage to win one game in these 4 games, there is a shot you make the wild card at 9 wins. So let's just say, I'm not going to say today's the day, but you have Seattle today, San Francisco next week on Monday Night Football, Phillip Rivers on Monday Night Football.
Is Riley Leonard hurt?
No.
Or is he just not going to play?
He practiced all week. From Wednesday on, he practiced.
Rivers has a better chance to win the game.
I guess so. Which I don't know if that
insane.
says more. And that's what leaves me stunned. Because does that say more about how good Phillip Rivers looks right now, or does that say how bad Riley Leonard is?
Both, probably.
I
don't know.
But so here's my thing. So you have Seattle today. You play the Niners at home next week on Monday Night Football. You're at home against Jacksonville, and then you play the Texans in Houston. If you can find a way to win that San Francisco or Jacksonville game at home, and you get 9 wins, and you sneak into the playoffs, if Phillip Rivers just manages to somehow win one playoff game with the Colts this year, I would say he's got to be a lock for the Hall of Fame. Just win one playoff game. Because how many 44-year-olds, after not playing for 5 years, could get up off the couch? Now, we thought it was amazing that Joe Flacco did what he did a couple years ago, okay? Where he was only retired for just that year, essentially, or not even retired, technically, just hadn't played up until like week 13. And the dude came in the last couple weeks for the Browns and led them to the playoffs. What if Phillip Rivers does the same thing? 44 years old, a literal grandfather. His oldest son has a kid. Not only that, his oldest son is older than Riley Leonard.
Same age as Tyler Warren, too.
So if you manage to come in and lead the Colts to the playoffs and win a playoff game, I have to put you in the Hall of Fame. Who the fuck else could do that? Besides maybe Thomas Edward, Patrick Brady. But, I mean, and not only that, with it happening with Flacco at like 38 when he did it, 40, however old he was, and it happens with Phillip Rivers, does this set the precedent for the rest of these, like, going, fuck, maybe do we call one of these older guys if we're down bad late in the season, you know, and I feel like it's just one of those ideas that you sit in as a GM and everybody, and there's like that guy in the back of the room that never has a say-so in anything with the team, that just throws out all the crazy ideas all the time. And I'm just imagining Irsay's daughter and Chris Ballard and them all sitting in the room talking about who they're going to sign. And there's that guy in the back of the room like, hey, what about Phillip Rivers? And they were just like, you know what? They're like, did you just say Phillip Rivers? And he's like, yeah, why not?
So now this makes me wonder, should we have called Brady?
What could it have hurt? What's the worst he's going to tell you? No.
Right? Because Phillip Rivers is like, I'm in.
I mean,
I'm bored.
Not only that, you have guys like Cam Newton that told you he would have came back and played. Like, I don't know.
So, did you see a little bit of a conspiracy on why Phillip Rivers came back? So,
talking about his healthcare benefits,
right? So, in the NFL, if you retire, after you retire, you get 5 years of full benefits from the NFL. So, health insurance, all.
Well, yeah, when you have fucking 11 kids, you're gonna need it.
Well, right. So now his 5 years wasn't completely up yet. And now, since all that resets, once he retires again, he'll get another 5 years of free insurance. Because he's been because he played in the NFL for a certain amount of years. So honestly, kind of a smart move if I'm him. He's like,
it's no different than your average person going to work a job and is like, hey, I can only work 3 days a week, but I'm only doing it just to keep health benefits.
Yeah, well, it's a little different because people aren't trying to kill you every single day.
But I'm just saying it's the same principle of,
I mean, I just hope he don't break a hip or something.
202 touchdowns. That's all I'm going to say. That's all we need today.
I mean, the offensive line better be on their A game, dude, because they cannot let somebody get to him.
So,
and if I'm a defensive player, I mean, I almost might feel bad.
I'm pinning my ears back the entire game.
I might feel bad when I hit him, though. Well, my bad, Phil.
But the thing is, though, Phillip Rivers is so insane that I think he's going to love getting hit.
Yeah, you're probably right. In the trash talk, I can't wait to hear. They got to have this man mic'd up.
Well, he has to be.
He has to be mic'd
up. No
up
doubt about it. He has to be.
Oh, my God. It would be pure, it's just gold content, man.
I'm telling you, it is set up for Phillip Rivers to have a monster game today.
Yeah. All right. Well, 425. Tune in, people. We'll see.
All right. Let's talk a little bit right here. Doug, what do the Chiefs do now?
I think Kelsey's gone.
Yeah.
I think Kelsey's done. Andy Reid's close. Has to be, right? So maybe depending on, I don't know. Does Mahomes want to stay in Kansas City or does he go somewhere else?
I don't think.
Honestly, if I'm the Colts.
Hey, hello. Would love that, obviously. But
I mean, that would be best case scenario for the Colts. Pipe dream. But yeah, ultimately I do think he stays in Kansas City too. But
so Rich Paul brought up a good point. Speaking of Mahomes, real quick. I don't know if you heard his comments about Mahomes. They were asking him about Patrick Mahomes and what you would do if you were Mahomes. And he was like, the Rich Paul, the agent, the agent answer is he was like, I'd figure out how to put on that Dallas Cowboy uniform with he's like the star that you are. And then along with the Cowboys, he's like, you can't write a bigger story than that.
Yeah, I mean, that fits too.
But yeah, I just don't know because the Chiefs are kind of in the weird state of they have some young players like Rashee Rice, like Xavier Worthy, where you have young pieces. And, Trent McDuffie's pretty young. Where you have young pieces you can kind of build off of if you want to do like a little mini teardown. But the problem is the other guys like Mahomes and Kelsey and Chris Jones and Joe Tooney, you're paying so much money to that I don't know where you go from here. So, yeah, I mean, and if you get rid of Andy Reid, with Mahomes, you have to have another big name in there. You got it. You can't just go get some, offensive coordinator and say this is Mahomes' coach. No. So, I don't know. The Chiefs are in a weird, because I don't think any of us could have looked at the Chiefs this year and said there's a chance they don't make the playoffs. I know some people did, but it's just that it's Mahomes. You can't not put Mahomes in the playoffs.
Well, they're about to. They're about to not put him in the playoffs.
I don't know where the Chiefs go from here. I just don't know. But let's talk about another potential future Colt, ? Joe Burrow's comments the other day in his presser.
Yeah, those are a little concerning.
Did not listen. If I was a Bengals GM, fan, teammate, I would be very wary of what was said by Joe Burrow. And for those of you that don't know, so Joe Burrow on his they interviewed him. They was doing his midweek interviews that he always does. They asked him on his mindset following his third serious injury of his career. He said, if I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing this. I have been through a lot. If it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? That is the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table. Somebody else asked him, you seem frustrated. He said, there's a lot of things going on right now, and there's just a lot of things going on. And he said, they asked football related or personal, and he said all the above. Now, from the outside looking in, if I'm an outsider like I am that's not in Bengals, this, and especially from somebody that has somebody that did this to my team, this screams Andrew Luck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But if I'm a Bengals guy, and from the other side, it screams he just doesn't want to be in Cincinnati anymore. And
well, let's talk about why. So I did some just quick Googling here. The Bengals pass rush defense has been completely horrible basically since he's been in Cincinnati. So in 2020, they ranked 29th in pass protection defense. 2021, 2022, they were the 30th. In 2023, they were 27th. And in 24 last year, they were 32nd.
And you know what? You're talking about the pass rush on defense?
No. I'm sorry. Like pass protection.
Offensive line. Okay.
Pass protection, yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind that 21, where you said they're 30th, he took them to the Super Bowl that year.
So the dude, yeah, he's probably got some personal shit going on. He's probably hurt all the damn time. Mentally, he's not right because he keeps getting hit. I mean, yeah, this.
And you can argue all his injuries are because of this offensive line.
Yeah. They got to help him, or he has to go to another team.
And how is an organization like? Yeah, you went out and you've gotten him T. Higgins. Well, T. Higgins was there when Joe Burrow was drafted already, but you gotten Jamar Chase. You've done all this. You got him weapons. You did that part right.
Yeah, just protect him.
Where's the offensive line?
And but so this to me screams get rid of Zach Taylor. Just clean the coaching staff. Get somebody
Get
in
rid of
here
the
who wants
GM. Honestly, the Bengals need to sell
all of it.
ownership. The Bengals need to sell ownership. That's the main part because the ownership is cheap. Always has been. Obviously, you can't just it takes a lot to get rid of an owner. But yeah, if not, if I'm Joe Burrow this offseason, I'm sitting down with my I'm calling a meeting. I'm like, listen, I need the owner, I need the GM, I need everybody here. And I'm sitting them down and I'm like, listen, I need to know I'm not even going to give you a 5-year. I need to know a 2 to 3 year plan right now of how we're going to fix this shit. That includes an offensive line. And I'm telling them right now, and I need to know what it is. And if I don't like it, I'm out.
Yeah, absolutely. For his own safety, his own career.
Yes.
I mean, Joe Burrow could play in this league another, 10,
listen,
15
Joe
years.
Burrow to me right now he's Andrew Luck, obviously, with the injuries. But this is screaming, and obviously it's not going to last as long as his tenure did with this said team. He's Matthew Stafford waiting to just be dropped into a good scenario.
Okay, Indianapolis.
So, I mean, listen, Joe, you saw what we did for Daniel Jones. Could you imagine what we could do for you? I mean,
we'll sell the Colts all day.
But yeah, if I'm Joe, I got to get out. I have to. There's just no. Listen, Jamar, we've been teammates since college. I love you, buddy, and I hope on the next organization I will do whatever I can to see if we can make a trade for you. I just can't be here for my own health and well-being. So, Joe Burrow, Colts, please, Carly Ursay, let's make it happen. Do you want to fix the problem, or you do want to Band-Aid it?
Ooh,
yeah, I'm gonna use your own quote on her.
Yeah, I like it. That's good.
All right, and then real quick to wrap up, let's talk a little college basketball because what week was this, Doug, of college basketball?
I don't know. Week, what is it? 6, 7, 8?
Yep.
6, 7, 8, 9.
All right. So what is so special about week 6? It was week 6, by the way. What is so special about week 6 of college basketball?
That's when we figure out who our 12 possible national champs could be.
So if you don't know, week 6 of college basketball since 2000, we did this video last year, and how we picked Florida to win the national championship, which is part of it. But since 2000, all national champions have come in the top 12 of the week 6 AP poll. So we have already, by this, narrowed our 65 team window down to 12. And here are your 12 teams, Doug. You have Arizona, you have Michigan, Duke, Iowa State, UConn, Purdue, Houston, Gonzaga, Michigan State, BYU, Louisville, and Alabama.
I mean, and you said only one of those teams meets the actual.
So the rest of the criteria that we did this video on, if you don't know, the rest of the criteria, which we'll fully put in during the tournament. But as of right now of week 6, so the other criteria is you have to be Ken Pom top 40 offense, top 25 defense. And actually, real quick, let's do this. Boom, share screen. All right, so breaking this down, you have to be top 40 offense, top 20 defense. Arizona is, Michigan is, Duke is, Iowa State is, UConn is, Purdue is not, Houston is not, Gonzaga is, Michigan State is not, BYU is, Louisville's not, Alabama is not. So they don't meet the criteria of either top 40 offense or top 25 defense of one of the two, because you have to be both. You have to at least average 4 blocks per game as a team. Arizona does, Michigan does not, Duke does, Iowa State does not, UConn does, Purdue does not, Houston does, Gonzaga doesn't, Michigan State does, BYU does, Louisville does not, Alabama does. You have to be top 25 in points per game, as you can see, with the exception of Duke, Purdue, Houston, Michigan State, and BYU. The rest of them do. And then only 5 first-time champions have come since 2000. So statistically, your best bet is to not go with a first-time NCAA champion. Of those would eliminate Alabama, BYU, Gonzaga, Purdue, and Iowa State, which leads to Arizona being the only one that fits all the criteria.
And which is crazy because they're the number 1 team in the country.
Correct. And just had another monster win last night against Alabama.
Yeah, who's a good team?
Yep. So, as of now, to me, the early betting favorite to win the national title is Arizona. And if I remember, because I looked just out of curiosity for the people that are big on betting, as soon as I can get it pulled up here. As of right now, if you wanted to just go ahead and take the odds on Arizona to win the national title, they are plus 1,000. I think when I did this on Wednesday, they were plus 1,500. Obviously, last night, after the win last night, their odds have gone up. Right now, the betting favorite for the national title is Michigan at plus 450. So, but
I think Arizona looks really good, though.
Unfortunately for Michigan, the only criteria they just don't fit is that 4 blocks per game. But they can fix that by the end of the year, obviously. So I am not going ahead and calling Arizona to win the national title. I am just saying, as of right now, as far as that criteria goes, that is where we stand for who would be the favorite right now.
And that one of those 12 teams will be.
Yes, it will be for sure one of those 12 teams based on history.
Yeah. Yep.
So
interesting.
There you go.
We'll
we've already narrowed. We've already narrowed the field for you from 68 with all the play in, and then down to 12 for you. So there you go. So there you.
Well, I'm gonna look.
What's up?
I'm gonna look at who was number 1 in Week 6 of the 2024 NCAA basketball rankings. The number 1 team. Week 6 of last year was Tennessee. Florida, who won it all, was 9th last year in Week 6.
So let's do a little bit more. Let's see. So UConn in 23-24 was the last number 1 team in the Week 6 AP poll that proceeded to win the national title.
I mean, Arizona definitely looks. I mean, they definitely look like
they look the part.
Yeah, they can win a national championship this year.
They're so good.
But I think, but there's a lot of good teams on that list. So it's definitely a little more open than it has been, I think, this year. So we'll see. We'll come back in March and we'll revisit this.
Yep, because again, we've got our 12 teams. Now we just got to wait out the rest of the year. So, but all right, Doug, I think that's it for today.
Yep, I think that does it for us, guys. If you like this, obviously like, comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe, follow us, whatever you want to do. And we'll see you guys in the next one.